my opinion. They want to indict Paul Manafort and possibly even retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. Mueller is on a witch hunt. And by the way, the media is helping him every day build this into a feeding frenzy. This week, the Washington Post, you know, they have so many false reports. They reported on an email exchange between Manafort and a Russian billionaire where Manafort actually offered to give the businessman briefings related to the campaign, the 2016 campaign. Now, a Manafort spokesman called the email exchange innocuous. And when you read the words of the letter of the actual exchange, he's right. Manafort has been very open about his past international business dealings, so it wouldn't be a shocking revelation that he would have routine contact with a businessman. How's things going in the campaign? Wow, it could have been as innocent as that. Do we believe that you're innocent until proven guilty in this country? You wouldn't know it by watching the mainstream media. Then the report even goes on to admit that there's zero evidence that these briefings even ever took place. That's what they're reporting. So what you have here, in my opinion, is contact. It's not collusion. And until evidence is provided, you have to assume that it was just contact. Then you have retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. Now, he has served this country honor and distinction in the U.S. Army for over 3 decades. Does he deserve the presumption of innocence? Now, he has been subjected to unmasking. He has even had his private phone conversations with a Russian diplomat. Well, that was leaked to the press, and that is a felony. That is a crime. That is a violation of the Espionage Act. In fact, it's the only crime we know for sure that was committed in the 11 months about talking about this. And as I've said multiple times on this program, if there is actual proof, hard evidence of collusion, please show us. We will report it right here on this program. Here's another interesting fact we learned this week. Fox News also reporting that Mueller's team interviewed the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, who happens to be the guy that appointed Robert Mueller. He's his boss. About what? The Russia investigation. Can anybody say conflict of interest? And remember, Comey leaked to the New York Times for the purpose of his friend Mueller to become the special counsel. Here is why all of this matters. It has now become evident, now more than ever, that in America we have a two-tier justice system in this country. You, the American people, you are being fed garbage, lies, half-truths on a daily basis. You are being betrayed by these institutions that are supposed to protect you and be honorable, and in the case of the Justice Department, carry out the rule of law. You should be disgusted. I am. There are real crimes with real evidence of real collusion that is being ignored by the media, Robert Mueller, and even at this point, the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. For example, an investigation needs to be opened into this unmasking and leaking intelligence scandal. Why was Samantha Powers, the UN representative, unmasking all the names of these people leading up to the election, nearly one a day? Well, was it politically motivated? Seems to me like it's a very good possibility. Was she weaponizing intelligence in an election year to go after an opposition candidate? And then you have former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice. And according to other reports, she also was responsible for rampant unmasking requests in 2016, including the identities of multiple Trump officials, senior officials. And then you got Ben Rhodes, close former aide to President Obama. And according to more reports, the House Intelligence Committee is looking into his requests for unmasking Americans. And of course, you want real crimes? Look at the Clintons. Hillary actually committed felonies, real crimes, and was directly involved in serious scandals. Where are these investigations? Like when she and her aides, they destroyed State Department emails. That would be a crime. They were subpoenaed at the time, then acid washed and bleach bit the servers, and then cell phones smashed with hammers. That sounds like obstruction. Don't forget, she signed off, you want a Russia collusion story, on a deal that gave up to 20% of America's uranium to a Russian company that donated up to $145 million to the Clinton Foundation, the people involved in that deal. Anyone hear the word bribery, pay to play? And who can forget the time Bill Clinton secretly meets with the Attorney General at the time, Loretta Lynch, on an airport tarmac days before the FBI's conclusion of its investigation into Hillary Clinton's server? Why isn't that being investigated? Where is the outrage in the media in this country? What about the investigation into the DNC server hack. And why didn't the DNC, why wouldn't they hand over their computers that got hacked to the FBI? And why did the FBI let them get away with it? And according to Comey's testimony, the Bureau was only given access to forensic forms because the DNC would rather hire other people. And speaking of DNC emails, if you're so concerned about Russia collusion and you want the truth, why haven't you reached out to Julian Assange of WikiLeaks? He knows where it came from, and he says it wasn't Russia. And he told me back in January it was not a state party as the source in the email hack. They're not speaking to Julian Assange. And speaking of Mueller, what about his conflicts of interest? 8 of the 16 members on Mueller's team make political donations to Obama, Clinton, and Democrats, and that's only the start of it. Mueller, Comey, best friends, and as Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett continues to point out, that relationship could be a violation of 2 laws. And you have Comey. He may have broken the law, drafting memos on government computers, removing those documents from the FBI. Comey admitted under oath that he has his friend leaked the contents of the memos to the New York Times in the hopes that a special counsel would be appointed, and it was. And we can't forget about Comey testifying that Loretta Lynch pressured him to call the investigation a matter, and he took the talking points as his own. Where's the investigation into possible Ukrainian election interference? Politico reports back in January, Ukrainian efforts to sabotage Trump backfire. Kiev officials scrambling to make amends with President-elect after quietly working to boost Clinton. There also needs to be investigations into the disturbing amount of deep state leaks. Senate report, almost a leak a day in the beginning of the Trump presidency. That's insanity, and it's illegal. So it's becoming a clear and present danger, not only to the president, but the people around him, but to the country, to the Constitution, to the rights, our Fourth Amendment rights to privacy. Really? Where's the DOJ? When are they going to crack down on these leaks? Anybody care about Debbie Wasserman Schultz, or former IT staffer in that scandal? Where's the special counsel there? Why did the former DNC chair keep him on the payroll? He had double billed with everything else we just laid out here. This is the danger. It is clearly in America today a 2-tiered justice system, and that's sad. That's real. That's scary. How can we believe in equal justice under the law? This is now becoming beyond a constitutional crisis, in my opinion. Joining us now, New York Times bestselling author of Understanding Trump, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. He also has a new online course called Defending America. I know it's long. I know it's drawn out. But everything I said is true. You're laughing.
Well, no, I'm just saying, look, the reason it has to be long is we have never, ever in American history had as many different scandalous behaviors by a president and his team as we are now learning from Barack Obama and his team. This is an amazing, excuse me, when I look at what Samantha Power was doing, by itself, that's unbelievable. Why does the UN ambassador have to unmask anybody? And my number one goal in this conversation is to get across that the House and the Senate have to open up serious, in-depth investigations. They need to bring Powers in under oath and go through every single unmasking. Why did you ask for this? What did you do with the information? What was the purpose of doing it? Who else knew about it? And then they got to do the same thing with Rice. And they got to do the same thing with the Attorney General Lynch. And they got to go right down the list. And ultimately, I think they're going to have to ask President Obama, did all of this occur and you didn't know it? Do you truly want us to believe that the IRS, the FBI, the Justice Department, the NSA, the State Department, all of these were being used for illegal purposes, and you as president didn't notice it? I think it's astonishing. I think you're exactly right to take this length of time to introduce it, because it's amazing how the elite media is avoiding bringing the dots together and painting the picture, and they should be terrified. I mean, every reporter in the country should be frightened of the idea of the executive branch of this government, as powerful as it is, suddenly becoming lawless and deciding it's going to target individuals and go after people.
Mr. Speaker, it's 24/7. Everybody wants Paul Manafort indicted. It's like they want Paul, but they really want the president. For them, Paul Manafort is just collateral damage. Here's the issue that really bothers me. You're right about the Republicans. You're right, these investigations. They're not happening, though. The Deputy Attorney General didn't appoint a special counsel here. I don't know what the Attorney General is doing, Jeff Sessions, but there is, to me, a sense of, okay, if we're going to go after Paul Manafort and you're going to go after a 30-year career military person like General Flynn, maybe you need to go after everybody else, because the evidence against Hillary alone, the questions about unmasking and surveillance leaks alone render a threat to the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, and I don't see it.
No, look, I'm with you. I don't know. I mean, Attorney General Sessions did not recuse himself from any of the things we're now discussing. He could instruct the FBI to open up a case, but at the same time, I would say to the House and Senate, in both parties, by the way, I mean, when you start seeing the power of the FBI or the power of the CIA being suborned for political reasons, you know, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, you ought to be frightened about the future of freedom in America, because we build very powerful institutions to defend us from foreign enemies and to defend us from criminals. And if those institutions start being corrupted, we are in deep trouble as a country.
I've lost faith in all these institutions. Add the media to the list. Have you?
Yes, the truth is we're one of the great crises in American history, and I think it's got to start. The one place you could imagine right this minute aggressively digging into this is the Congress. I cannot understand why the House and Senate are not being dramatically more aggressive. I mean, they're being handed story after story after story that prove that there was something really sick in the Obama administration. And just General Clapper, who I've known for years and I've respected for years, just his behavior over the last year is absolutely beyond me. And back in, and they ought to go through step by step. And I noticed that he worded things very carefully. If you go back to the part you played,
yes, he did.
Nobody in his particular institution, but I think that was in effect functionally not being honest.
It sounded very Clintonian. Mr. Speaker, we got a lot more to get to. We need to talk to you next about healthcare. Straight ahead.
Starting Monday, 2 Fox favorites, 2 new times. First, the 5 moves back to 5. Out-of-the-box conversation with powerful debates you can't miss. Then, Hannity moves to 9. Strong, straightforward opinion you only get with Sean. Starting Monday, 2 Fox favorites, 2 new times. Don't miss the 5 back at 5 and Hannity now at 9. Only on the Fox News Channel.
We're the TV doctors of America. We may not know much about medicine, but we know a lot about drama. We also know that you can avoid drama by getting an annual checkup.
So go, know, and take control of your health.
It could save your life.
Cigna, together, all the way.
There's never been a better time to come to Fast Pro Shops than right now.
Fast Pro Shops is a place for huge savings, like Hobbs Creek men's flannel shirts for only $10 and a Browning 14-megapixel game camera for under $80.
If you have moderate to severe ulcerative colitis or Crohn's, and your symptoms have left you with the same view, it may be time for a different perspective. If other treatments haven't worked well enough, ask your doctor about Entyvio, the only biologic developed and approved just for UC and Crohn's. Entyvio works by focusing right in the GI tract to help control damaging inflammation and is clinically proven to begin helping many patients achieve both symptom relief as well as remission. Infusion and serious allergic reactions can happen during or after treatment. Entyvio may increase risk of infection, which can be serious. While not reported with Entyvio, PML, a rare serious brain infection caused by a virus, may be possible. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, experience frequent infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Liver problems can occur with Entyvio. If your UC or Crohn's medication isn't working for you, ask your gastroenterologist about Entyvio. Entyvio, relief and remission within reach.
Have you ever seen something so beautiful that all you could say was, wow? Or walked on the world's best beach at a place that made you feel